All right, let's get more from SABC News reporter Hasina Gori, who's at the Diepkloof mortuary in Soweto. Hasina, a very good afternoon to you. Just describe what's happening around you and what officials have said to you.
Good afternoon. What we see here this afternoon is quite a lot of families that have come down into this area, into Diepkloof, to the forensic pathology services in hopes of finding and identifying their loved ones. We had that briefing from the Gauteng Health Department, from the head of their pathology services, just explaining the process that it is going to be when it comes to identifying the burnt bodies and those that have deceased. As you mentioned, quite a number, that's almost 62 of the 74 dead are burnt beyond recognition. That means they cannot be identified by their face, that they are going to have to rely on the DNA processes to come into play to allow for these bodies to be identified. This is going to be a lengthy process. This is to ensure that we do not see secondary trauma taking place. I'm just going to step out to allow some of the services that are coming in. We've seen quite a few of these pathology vans coming in earlier on, the one that was from Hillbrow that was there earlier on in the day, bringing those bodies that are being processed there at Hillbrow. We're told by the Gauteng Health that they are doing DNA of those deceased bodies at Hillbrow, and then they will then be transported here to this building. But I want to bring in one of the community members who is here this afternoon. Primrose, you here with some other community members who you've brought along, who are looking for their loved ones. Can you tell us what has been the situation like for them? You live in that area and you've been now with them since the incident happened.
It has been crazy. It's been so bad, mommy. As a mother, it's not easy seeing such things happening in front of your eyes.
When you got there yesterday, when that fire happened, can you describe what you saw and what took place?
Well, in the morning I couldn't see much, but what I saw is a bunch of ladies with minor babies, like I'm talking about 1 month old, sitting on the street, stranded without anything, absolutely anything, just a lady carrying a child with just one towel, no food, nothing.
And you said you have began assisting them. What assistance have you tried to give, and how did you find yourself here now today?
So yesterday, as I went there in the morning, I couldn't offer much help, so I went back until late. Then around 7 we went back just to see if we can find anybody who is really in need of help. So we find few ladies. We took some ladies home, and then we had the mother of this child. The mother of this child, we took her home, and she only discovered that the older child, who is 16 years old, passed on in the fire because the mother jumped from a 4th building going down. She knocked her head and she was taken to the hospital. She only returned around 6-7. So we only find her outside there with her husband, because the husband also broke the leg. And this baby, something is absolutely wrong with the baby because she's been crying the whole night. So we just want to find out here what's the way forward with the baby who passed away in the fire, and then we can take this one to the hospital.
Has the mother been given any counseling yet, and then has she now been swabbed for DNA? What's that process that's happening?
Right now I had to approach one of the ladies who made a phone call so that we can get help here quickly. So the mother is busy inside with the DNA. So once she's done, we're going to take this one to the hospital.
Thank you so much. That was Primrose, one of the community members who lives in the inner city of Johannesburg, saying that she had just went through to the site of that inferno yesterday to offer assistance, describing that the mother of this child, when we spoke to her off air, she said that the mom of this child is distraught. As you heard, from here, that this mother jumped from the window. She had concussions. The father broke his leg in that process, and they find out when they got out of hospital yesterday, when they were discharged, that they now find out that their 16-year-old daughter has passed on. She's one of the deceased, one of the 74 victims, and now they're in the process of trying to identify. We've heard from the Gauteng Health Department, from the pathology services, just describing the process. It is going to be a lengthy one. It's going to be a process that's going to be of linking, those burnt bodies that can't be identified just by their facial features, just by eyesight, to the DNA, and then to link it then to the families. There's going to be a process of then ensuring that they all match, and this has to be family members that will have to be brought, as well as and it has to be family members that have to be tested for DNA so that they can find and match these, because this is going to be the only way they're going to be able to really link these deceased victims to their family members, and to ensure that the right people are buried. They do not want to bring on secondary trauma. We've also heard that there's counseling services that are being brought on. What we need to understand that in these kind of disaster situations, most of the family members, their initial process is just survival. Many of them have not even even started thinking of the grief that they've gone through. They're more concerned with ensuring that there is a roof over their head, that they have food, that they have a place to stay, that they are safe. And these are the initial concerns that many of them are still struggling with. And then also then to find their loved ones and then ensure that they're given a proper burial and a final farewell to their mortal remains. But in Zinga, this is an ongoing story. The MEC is expected to be here. We know she's also going to be in the inner city as well, where a prayer will be led, and we'll continue to give you those updates as we get them and as the story unfolds.